Hey guys, welcome back to another Catasetum update video. So here are all the Catasetums, and I have a couple down there near the fan because they just won't dry out. And that actually takes me to the first thing I wanted to say is that next year I don't think I'm going to be using sphagnum moss, or I might use like a very, very small amount on the top layer, just because it holds in too much water and it's allowing like mold to form on some plants, which is really annoying. And I just feel like it's kind of suffocating the roots and it's not drying out. So I'm just going to use like a fine grade orchiata for the bark and then probably nothing else. But second thing also, I think I am finally losing this Closia gray stun. It sucks, but I've been, I knew it was probably going to happen because it's just been giving me trouble since the beginning of the growing season. But death aside, we have all of these beautiful plants doing pretty great here and a couple down there, and I just want to get into it. First, I'm probably going to go into these, the ones that are a little bit more behind, so let's get into them. Okay, so first, here's that little Mormotes lineata seedling. It's in rough shape, but it might be fine. See, I think the sphagnum moss for me is just not great because no matter what situation I put it in, most of the time, I don't know, this year I've had, trouble with it. Last year it was great for me, but this year I'm having trouble, and I don't think I'm going to use sphagnum moss anymore, just some fine grade bark. But this was, one of the problem plants that I'm talking about is, it had two other small growths, but they, got mold or fungus or something, and it killed them. So that's really, really annoying, but I put 5-20 all over it, so now hopefully it's gone. Here is the Catasetum matosianum. Is giving me a really nice little new growth here. It's grown a lot in the last month, so there we go. And hopefully, it gets bigger than the last growth. And here's that little Fred Clarkiara after dark division, and it's doing really bad, but it might be fine. I don't know. We'll find out. Here's the Catasetum Melena's daughter little division, and it's doing pretty good too. And here's the Catasetum Rio Grande seedling. It picked up its new growth finally, so hopefully now it'll keep on growing. And here is the Galleandra stangiana seedling, and its new growth is still down there, looking pretty tiny, but hopefully it'll make its way along pretty quick. Back here we have the Catasetum tenebrosum, and it's doing really good this year. It's giving me, a nice root system, which I would show you, but it's just like down in there. You can see that one root right there. It's got a whole lot of those roots going down, and this one actually is a really nice root system compared to a lot of the other ones. Now here, this one right here and this one right here are the same plant. They're divisions of each other, and they're both doing pretty good. Nice little root systems. I'll go ahead and just kind of try and put them side to side. I don't know. They're really nice root systems, and I'm having a bit of a spider mite problem if you couldn't tell. I come in here every week or two when it starts to look pretty bad, and I just wipe them all down, but they just always come back. I'm always going to have that issue. So, it's not a matter of getting rid of all of them and just curing all my plants. It's more of keeping it under control because there is no just fixing this at this point in the season. Here's my Catasetum Jumbo York. It hasn't grown. I want it to plump up, hopefully it will, but I don't know. It hasn't done anything in a while. It's just kind of sitting there, which is kind of annoying. Here's my Closia russellianum, and it's doing pretty good. It's got a lot of nice roots, not really making their way down too much. You can see a few of them going down there, but hopefully this one will be a really nice big growth, and I think it will be just because the way that it's starting out. Here's my Catasetum pileatum, and it's giving me some nice new roots too. And this growth, it looks very robust. So hopefully I get a bigger bulb. That's always what I'm trying to accomplish here, but I don't know. Some of these I feel like they're just gonna stay the same or smaller, but some of them, I have hope that they're gonna get bigger and they're gonna look a lot better. So now here is the one that's probably the farthest back, is the Catasetum denticulatum, and its nice little new growth is just starting to leaf out down there with still no roots. Hopefully it'll perk up, but I don't know. And here's the Catasetum hat trick, and this little dude, once I said it last time, I say it every time. I'm proud of it because it's so small and it always struggles, but it still manages to live and, you know, survive another year, so I'll give it that. For the Catasetums that are a little bit more behind, I will probably put a heating mat underneath them to try and extend their season on, because they're gonna need it. Like, they're seriously gonna need it, so I'm gonna try and give them that little bit of extra time. Now on to the big plants, and I also have 3 down there, which I'll show you guys, but I'll move them up here. So here's my Fred Clarkia After Dark, and if you can see, yep, it's getting huge, and its leaf span is pretty big too. So I hope that this bulb ends up a lot bigger than the last one. Right now it looks like it's gonna be about the same size, but hopefully it gets bigger. Right here is my Calesia Rebecca Northern crossed with Catasetum steroides. It's grown a lot in this last month, and you know, I'm starting to get a lot more hope for it to, you know, get as big as the last bulb did. Here's my other division of Catasetum Lena's Daughter, and it's looking really good too. It, you know, back bulb is still nice and plump, but this one has probably got, you know, some of the most extensive spider mite damage. It's still green, which is really what matters, but I don't know. I mean, hopefully it'll be fine, and you know, it perks up and puts out new leaves that hopefully won't get attacked by spider mites, but they will. I know they will. But something that I actually do want to say, just because I'm now noticing it, but the Cloecia russellianum, it has no spider mites on it, no spider mite damage. I know it's a newer growth, but it shot up very fast, by the way. But I don't know if it's like this plant, the spider mites just don't really prefer it or what, but I think that's cool. I just thought I'd mention that. But yeah, this one has some extensive spider mite damage, but you know, hopefully it should be just fine, and I'm gonna continue to just treat them as much as I can. But you know, probably today or tomorrow I'm gonna come out here and fix them up. But yeah, here's my Catasetum Sandy Kastner crossed with Catasetum Jamie Lawson, and you know, its new growth is starting to plump up, I'd say. Has that still really nice leaf span. I don't think it's gonna get really tall, this growth, but it might get pretty fat, I think, so that'd be cool. Here's my Catasetum Vongshing continuing to grow upwards. You know, I think this growth is gonna be tall. It's gonna be at least like a foot tall. It's gonna be thick too. So, you know, this growth is just, you know, hopefully it's something huge and special and just fun, because, you know, it still looks like a newer growth and it's, you know, this big. So obviously this one likes PET. It's loving its life. It's probably it's probably one of my favorites at this point, just because of how vigorous it's growing, but you know, it's doing pretty good. Here's my Clausia Gray Stun crossed with Catasetum dentigrianum, and it's just slowly pushing along. I feel like this growth is probably going to be pretty skinny, just because it looks, you know, kind of Galliandra-like, if you know what I mean. It's pretty skinny just from the beginning, but hopefully it will plump up and give me some nice new roots to suck up enough water by the end of the season. But I feel like this is one of the ones that I might have to put on top of a heating mat later on in the season. Here's my Cycnoches Richard Brandon crossed with Jean E. Monnier, and it's giving me some problems. So as you can tell, you know, it plumped up last month, but this month all of the bulbs are back to being, you know, almost paper thin, and the new growth is getting damage on it and it's looking kind of rough. And down here, I'll show you, it's getting like brown and stuff. I'm sure it's not like rotten to the core of it, it's just like the one leaf. But it is kind of annoying because the roots, you know, this is one of the plants I was talking about where it has that problem with the sphagnum moss. It hates it. I don't know what the problem is, but you know, it's like it's... Sorry, I fell on my phone. Someone just called me. So as I was saying, I think the sphagnum moss is kind of suffocating the roots, and you know, if it suffocates the roots can't suck up water, and the whole plant just suffers and could possibly die. So that's my main reasoning, or at least what I think the main reason is for all the issues. But that's why I'm not going to be using sphagnum moss this year. And if I do, you know, it's going to be a very light layer, probably like a smaller layer than this, you know, just like a little bit. So sphagnum moss has been very problematic this year. I don't know if it's just like a very humid year and it's not allowing things to dry out or what, but I don't know. It's getting pretty annoying, so I'm just not going to use sphagnum moss next year, or, you know, like I said, very little. Here's the Catasetum pure, and it's bending towards the sun severely, if you can see that there. Its new growth hasn't really like plumped up or grown very much, but the back bulbs have gotten so much fatter, so that's nice to see. And you know, if this new growth drops, it tends to happen with a lot of plants from rare earth orchids. The new growths that kind of come with them drop. That's why it's better to order in the fall sale, because a lot of like the new growths, they're gonna come out with you, not like shipped. I think it's the shipping from Texas to wherever you are. I don't know, shipping Catasetums when they're just starting out in new growth or like in the middle of their season, it tends to shock them a bit and throw them back. But like I was saying, yeah, if this bulb dies, you know, now it's got 3 nice plump back bulbs to help them out. And it's actually pushing down a lot of new roots now. You can't really see them, but they're down in there, I promise. And I'm really proud of this plant. You know, hopefully it'll plump up and give me, it won't drop this new growth, and it'll just give me a lot of new growth next year. Or one good new growth next year, but I don't know, we're gonna find out. Back here is my Montiara Millennium Magic Witchcraft, and as you can see, so here is the bulb from this year, this growing season. It started rotting at the top, and it just hates me, so that's cool. And it's now pushing out another new growth over here, which I think should be a little bit better, because I repotted this one like I said I was going to next year. You know, there's, you know, the rocks in the bottom, then there's a whole lot of bark, and just barely even a layer of sphagnum moss, which is probably what I'm going to do next year. And if there's no issues with this plant for the rest of the year, it's definitely the plan. Just because I feel like, you know, it couldn't get much worse. This year was a really bad Catasetum growing year, and I don't know, I feel like it could definitely be better, and I think that's just the improvement that I need to make on, and it's just a choice that I think will help out my plants, so I'm gonna do it. Alright, so like I said, I have 3 plants down here in front of the fan, just because these plants don't really like to dry out. This one has dried out, this one's been getting a little bit better, but these 2, and you know, a couple others are still having some issues drying out, so I have to keep them, you know, in front of the fan, or you know, somewhere to help dry them out, because otherwise it's going to stay wet when it gets really annoying. So right here is my Fred Clarkia After Dark SVO Black Pearl, and it's giving me a really nice new growth. Here, I'm going to pull it out in the sun, and I think that this new growth will actually get quite a bit taller and quite a bit thicker than the last previous years. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this is the year that this plant really perks up. Here's my Cycnochus Dark Swan crossed with Richard Brandon. Fun fact, the new growth rotted completely about a day after filming this, so I wasn't mad at all. No, not mad at all. Hopefully it should be fine next year. Really nice new growth. It didn't really grow for a while, I think, and now it's starting to grow a little bit more, and it's pushing out some new roots, you know, down in there. So this plant hopefully will turn out really good. This is one of those growers I think might end up on the heating pad, like I was saying. You know, they just need a little bit longer of a season, but you know, we have 2 or 3 months to really decide that, because there's a little bit more time to grow. So hopefully I won't have to use it, but like I said, if I do, I will, because it's better for the plants to have bigger growths and a longer growing season than to just struggle and have really tiny growths. Here's the Catasetum lucius. And this is, you know, one of the ones I said stays very wet, and I don't really like that. I like for them to dry out. But this one, it's continuing to push out new roots, but if we can see over here, leaf is kind of getting rotten looking, and I'm hoping that does not spread to the bulb. But yeah, that's kind of the reason why I'm, you know, putting it right in front of the fan. You know, all of the ones that stay wet, because it causes a lot of rot. And I don't want that in any of my plants. It's kind of gross. So those are all the Catasetums, and I just thought I'd, you know, show them. That's what I do every month, and I'm gonna do it next month too. And hopefully, you know, like I said, I say this at the end of every video, next month they'll be a lot better and bigger. And next month we really should start seeing a lot of like plumping in the bulbs over here, which is my favorite part. I love seeing the bulbs get like thick. I don't know, I just love that. Also, because I don't know if I said it, this was pretty much dead last month, but now it's like officially dead. This is my Fred Clarkia Enter Light. Definitely dead. It halted its growth, and it had no roots to really like help it through that time of just doing nothing, so it died. And you know, I'm fine with that. You know, things die from rare earth orchids sometimes just because they don't, like I said, that shock and shipping, it's not I don't know, a lot of times it just seems like a bit of a problem. But as I'm talking about shipping Catasetums in middle of the growing season, I might order from Fred Clark sometime soon, because I recently got a job, and I got some cash. Well, not right now, but like when I get paid, I'll have some cash. And you know what? I really want some of the things from his list, so I'm definitely going to get some things. And I know that Clausia Rebecca Northern is not Clausia Grace Dunn, but it is very similar. And you know, if I buy that, I won't feel as bad that my Clausia Grace Dunn died. So I'm going to get that. I'm also thinking of getting a Signochus Worcestershire and one that was a Dentigrianum crossed with Tenebrosum and Spitzii Red, and then the other half of the list hasn't been released yet, so so I'm gonna order some things from that probably, and you know, hopefully there's some cool things on that other half of the list, because none of us have seen it yet, and I hope there's some cool things on there, but it's gonna break my bank. Because you know, if I order from him, I like to order a whole lot. I know I normally don't, but it's just, you know, it's better because the shipping is $20 depending on like how much you get. There's a certain point where it goes past $20, but you know, I'm not gonna spend past that point because it's a whole lot. But you know, when I order plants, I like to get a whole lot of them, and I know it sounds kind of weird, but I don't know, save on shipping cost. It's just the thought of it. Yeah, but anyway, bye guys, I'll see you guys in the next one, and you know, next month, new Catasetum update. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.